Woo! What's going on, guys? Orange Form coming at you guys today with another video. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the Miami Dolphins visiting Ford Field playing the Detroit Lions. This is the aftermath video. The Detroit Lions falling in this one against the Miami Dolphins. Dolphins going up to 5-3 on the year, puts them at third in the AFC East. And the Lions falling to 1-6, 5 losses in a row in the basement, fourth in the NFC North. This team just keeps racking up losses after loss. And this was another one, 31-27 Miami Dolphins. Let's get right into the stats right away. Quarterback, we do the away team always. So Miami's up first. Tua Tagovailoa, I can't say his last name. 80% completion percentage, 29 for 36, 382 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 sacks. He was on point. He doesn't have the strongest arm in the NFL, man. Some of those balls that he throws, they seem to just go up, and they seem to be hanging there. But they always seem to fall in the arms of either a Jalen Waddle or a Tyreek Hill. Nate Burleson said it really best yesterday when I was watching his show, CBS, whatever he was on. He was saying that Tyreek Hill is 5'10", but plays like he's 6'5", because he just gets up and gets the ball. It's just weird, but Tua was on point, man. He played well. He shredded that Detroit defense. Now rushing, Raheem Mostert, he was 14 for 64, 4.6 yards per carry. Dolphins as a whole, running the ball, they ran over 100 yards on the ground, 108 yards. But Mostert did most of the damage, so I'm not going to really talk about anybody else really. But 108 on the ground as a rushing unit. Let's say. The receiving, Tyreek Hill had a humongous game. He was 12 catches for 188 yards on 14 targets, got 12 of them. Jalen Waddle had a big day too. 8 catches for 106 yards, 2 touchdowns on 9 targets. Mike Gesicki had 3 catches for 38 yards too. The tight end had and a touchdown and on 4 targets. So yeah, they shredded the Detroit defense through the air. And defensively, the Miami Dolphins, they didn't really do a lot playmaking-wise. Obviously, they shut us out in the second half, and we'll get into that. But as playmaking, they didn't really do much. Like safety, Javon Holland had 12 tackles. He's a pretty good safety, flies all over the field. Quarterback, Kadar Kohu had 6 tackles. Linebacker, Landon Roberts had 8 tackles total as well. The defensive tackle, Zach Sealer, had 4 tackles and a sack. His first sack of the year, I believe it was, for Zach Sealer, because Goff was only sacked once. Miami doesn't really have a ton of playmaking defensive players. They don't have the worst defense like us in the league, but they don't have a good defense. They just don't. But they stymied us in the second half. And then I should have said this earlier, injuries, we lost tight end Brock Wright. He had a concussion. And then cornerback A.J. Parker, he had a hip injury. Both guys had to leave the game, didn't return. Parker was horrible anyways. Now for the Detroit Lions in the quarterback situation. Jared Goff, he was 27 for 37, 321 yards, 1 touchdown, sack once, 72% completion percentage. Looked great in the first half. Made a couple nice throws, made a couple decent deep ball throws too. Maybe a little bit underthrown to Khalif Raymond, that one throw, but it's going to happen with him. He doesn't have a strong arm. And we'll get into that in a little bit. Then rushing, Jamal Williams, he had 10 carries for 53 yards and 2 touchdowns. 5.3 yards per clip. I thought maybe they should have used him more. He was rushing at 5.3 yards a clip. I don't understand why he only had 10 rushes. DeAndre Swift, 5 carries for 6 yards and 1.2 yards per carry. Well, why is this kid even playing? I don't even know why he's playing. I know he had a touchdown receiving, but we'll get into that. But he didn't look right. But we'll talk about all this. And then receiving, T.J. Hawkinson had 3 catches for 80 yards. He had 1 nice catch where he broke away from a guy and had a big day and had a big gain. And he only had 4 targets though. It's frustrating. Khalif Raymond had his breakout day, breakout game of 2022. He had 3 catches for 76 yards on 4 targets. Should have had that easy walk-in touchdown, but it was an underthrown ball, whatever. Amon-Ra St. Brown had 7 catches for 69 yards and on 10 targets. Looks like he's getting a little bit healthier, which is a good sign. Then DeAndre Swift did have 5 catches for 27 yards on a touchdown, on a nice little touchdown, a nice little breaking through the middle, boom. Juked out the linebacker. Whoever the linebacker was attempting to try and cover him. It reminded me of the Stafford to Theo Riddick that they used to do constantly. It was a play where the running back kind of pretends he's going to go outside and cuts right back into the middle. Leaves the linebacker in the dust. It was the Stafford Theo Riddick play. They did it a million times. It felt like. It kind of reminded me of that. It was actually a nice route by DeAndre Swift. He just didn't look right. He didn't look right playing. I don't think he should have played. Are they showcasing him? Jamal Williams, 3 catches for 23 yards, 2 on 3 targets. So enough with the Jamal Williams slander that he can't catch a football. He caught 3 balls. So that's all. Knock that off too. And then Josh Reynolds did have 6 targets. He was second in the team on targets, but he only had 14 yards. He did have the 1 bad drop in the end zone though. A lot of people will talk about that second drop that he had on the deep ball, and I'll get into that a little bit more. And it's not going to make the truthers happy. So, but he did have a horrible drop in the end zone. It was in the first half. So Goff should have had 2 touchdowns, but Reynolds did have that bad drop in the end zone. See, I just don't pick on Jared. James Mitchell, we did have a James Mitchell sighting, the rookie out of Virginia Tech, the tight end. He had a 1 catch for 14 yards. Got to get that kid more involved. Got some good size to him. Let's see what happens with him. And then have we found a kicker? You think we found one? Michael Badgley, man, he was perfect. He did his job. He had a long of 42. Looked pretty solid kicking the football Sunday. So, let's keep a kicker on this damn roster. Now back to the defense. This is such a fun defense to watch. This defense, little fun fact. I just found this out on NFL Network while I was doing my studies and doing my little research. This defense forced a punt for the first time at home since week 2. I didn't even know that. I didn't know that. First punt since week 2 at home. Wow. Is this a good defense? And Aaron Glenn still has a job. Aubrey Pleasant doesn't, though. He doesn't deserve one either. So it doesn't really matter, man. It's just gonna be a domino effect. It's coming. And then let's get down to the stats. Cornerback Amani Oruwariye had 8 tackles. He was horrible in coverage, though, obviously. Cornerback Will Harris had 6 tackles. See, when I started talking about big tackles coming from the defense right away, like 8 tackles for AO, Will Harris was 6. Cornerback shouldn't be having crazy big tackles. It shouldn't have 8, 10 tackles like this. This shouldn't be happening. Like Okudah did that last week, but he was almost playing that hybrid linebacker role, trying to stop that Dallas run offense. So it was just. But nobody played good on offense yesterday, except we did have some good sightings. Linebacker Malcolm Rodriguez had 7 tackles, a sack, and a fumble recovery. Kid just has a nose for the football. I'll keep saying it over and over again. It's a great pick in the 6th round. No, he did not fall to us. 6th round picks don't fall to you. Okay? That doesn't even make any sense. He's a 6th round pick. I had him graded as a 4th or 5th, to be honest. But I don't know. I like I said, I'm just a YouTuber who works in the auto industry, man. So it's just, but he was a great find. He was an absolute fantastic find for this team. He just keeps getting better and better. He finally got his sack too. I'm happy for him because he came close a couple times in a few games, and he finally got one. And he had a fumble recovery. He just has a nose for the ball. And then safety, Juju Hughes had 6 tackles. I think his first sack of his NFL career too. So good on Juju. And then safety, another rookie, Kirby Joseph, 6 tackles and a forced fumble. Second forced fumble, 2 games in a row on a big, beautiful hit, going for the ball. It was a great play by Kirby, and he's kind of proving why he was drafted third round. So nice to see the kids getting involved. Aiden Hutchinson had a couple pressures, didn't do much though. No tackles, no sacks. Didn't have a great game at all. Like I said, he led a couple pressures, but he needs to be better. But we'll talk about him too in a little bit. But this defense overall almost had about 500 yards against them again. They are the main problem on this team. The main problem on this team. And it doesn't look like it's going to get any better. So it's just a bad overall defense. Nothing really special to talk about. But let's talk about the offense first. They look great in the first half. They look fantastic in the first half, scoring on all 5 possessions. Looking like they were going to put about 40 to 50 points on the board. They're just 27 in the first half. Like, all right. It was like 27. I believe it was 27-17 or 27-14 going into the third quarter. Or 27-17, whatever. I think Sanders for Miami had a couple field goals. But offense looked great. Second half, they just turned into the bad news Bears. Penalties up the wahoo. All kinds of penalties. The O-line was just out of sync with penalties. Sewell had back-to-back. Decker had some. Seemed like everybody was just like exchanging penalties on that O-line. Terrible. They had some bad drops too. Josh Reynolds, especially with that one drop in the end zone, was horrible. Amon-Ra had a drop. Hawkinson might have had a drop too. They had a few drops. They had 3 to 4 drops for sure. Now, I'm not gonna. A lot of people want to say that Josh Reynolds had 2 bad drops. There was a 4th and 2 call that they called. The Lions were going for it, which I thought was a good call. There was 3 options that I see. There was 3 options. There was Hawk over the middle. DeAndre Swift was to the right. And Reynolds went deep. Reynolds was going and running straight. And then he kind of cut to his right to the pin. To the front pin. To the front, the cone. Whatever you guys want to call it. And we used to call it the end zone pin. The front and the back. Called a pin, called a cone. Whatever you want to call it. So we used to call it that. And he was going towards, and he cut to his right. So he's running this way. Cut to his right. And he was looking. What does Goff do? He throws the ball to the other side. Deep. He has Hawk and Swift open. Doesn't use those 2 guys because his vision is dog shit. Okay? So he throws deep, which whatever, throws deep. Reynolds had his guy by a step. That's considered open in the NFL, by the way. Goff chucks it. He throws it. It goes to Reynolds' other side. He has to turn around, contort his body. And the ball, he didn't lay out completely flat, but he had to contort his body and make a pretty good, I won't say acrobatic catch, but it would have been a pretty damn good catch if he would have came up with that ball. Because it was a poorly thrown ball. Poorly. A, your decision was terrible. And B, the ball was bad. Now, I'm not going to sit here and blame Jared Goff for this whole game because that's not the truth. It's not the truth. But if you're going to be the franchise quarterback here, score points. Score points. Somehow figure out a way to score points. I know drops and penalties are a part of the game. It's not an excuse. You still got to get in the end zone. You still have to figure out a way. You can't get blanked out. And this goes on the O-line, the quarterback, the running backs, the wide receivers, the tight ends, and Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson should get criticized big time for this game. What were you doing in the second half? Where you couldn't get points on the board. You couldn't even get in field. Well, you kind of got in field goal position, but you were kind of down. But you couldn't really get in field goal position for the most of that second half. Why? All your guys were healthy. What's the excuse now? Like, what's the excuse? You have to score points. And that's on Ben Johnson. That's on Jared Goff. You have to figure that out. And like I said, everything is going wrong with this team. Now, let's talk Lions defense. They're just terrible. They're just absolutely terrible. They are the main issue of this squad. They don't get to the quarterback. When your safeties and your corners are making sacks, it's a problem. Like, you got to have pressure from your D-line. The only guy giving up any pressure, giving pressure is Aiden Hutchinson. And he's not delivering everything. He's not delivering at times. He didn't have a great game yesterday. And you can rag on Hutch all you want. He deserves it. He didn't have a great game yesterday. He's got to rack up some stats. He's got to be a difference maker, and he wasn't yesterday. Nobody is on that defense. Like, Malcolm Rodriguez had a good game. Okay, that's good. Kirby Joseph stepping up, playing better the last few weeks. I love it. But this defense overall is just terrible. Like, Okuda wasn't good in coverage. Monty Awarrior is absolutely horrific in coverage. There's no way in the world he should be re-signed. And I hope we don't re-sign him. I hope we just let him walk. And some other team pays him and we get at least like a 4th or 5th round comp pick. Just because he's not going to get paid top dollar like he thinks I don't know if he thought he was, or he's not getting paid top dollar. He's going to get a raise though. It's just because that's just the way the NFL is. He will get a raise, 100%. But will it be enough for us to get a comp? I'm willing to take that chance. I'm willing to trade his ass out of here. Somebody wants him as a third corner. Because he ain't no 1 and he ain't no 2 right now. He's terrible. He is absolutely dog terrible. He had a couple bad penalties. He gives up too many big plays. He's just not good. I don't know what happened to him. He turned into a pretty damn good corner last year. I thought he stepped up his game obviously last year. Still gave up some big plays last year, but got picks, played better. This year, he doesn't even look like he even belongs on a team. He's that bad. He's horrible. And him and that whole secondary got your boy, Aubrey Pleasant, fired. That's just the way it is. And Aubrey Pleasant doesn't want to go and do the game plan like it's supposed to be done. See ya, bro. That's not how you keep. I can't go into my work and say, oh, this is what I'm supposed to do. How about I'm going to do it like this? And it completely fails. And then they're going to what? What are they going to do? Give me a raise? They're going to show me the damn door. That's what they're going to do. And that's what happened. Secondary did not do what they were supposed to be doing, and Aubrey Pleasant got fired for it. I already said it in my video. If you don't like the Aubrey Pleasant firing, that's too damn bad. Do your job. And this Lions defense, these coaching staff, these players, nobody is safe here. Nobody. Aaron Glenn, especially. Like, I don't know what happened there. Almost 500 yards of offense given up again by this team. They can't stop anybody. And you're lucky Raheem Mostert only had 60-something yards because he looked like he was banged up earlier. He probably would have rushed for more. But it was the Waddle, Hill, and Tua show. What's the point of even running the ball, really? Those guys were open all day. Like, wide open. So it's a problem. It's a huge problem in this team. Defensively, I don't know what they're going to do in this draft, but draft videos are coming soon. I'm telling you. I'm dropping them. They're coming soon. This team needs so much. I think they need a new quarterback. They especially need a bunch of new players on defense. They need lots of things, man. They need so much, man. But that's it. Lions lose 31-27 at home. At next, I think they're playing. I think we play the Packers. Packers or Chicago. Didn't even write it down. I was so frustrated doing this. But that's it, guys. 31-27, Miami Dolphins over the Detroit Lions. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for paying attention. Don't forget the subscribe button at the bottom right. Don't forget to hit notification bell, get all my videos, and don't forget to like, comment, share this out. Let's talk about it, man. Another heartbreaker. 5 in a row we've lost. 1-6. It's not looking good, guys. Go Lions, one pride. Boom.